Hello, hopefully everyone is doing good. In this tutorial, I'm going to discuss whatever we have discussed in the previous class, and also I'm going to discuss these homeworks for you, and I'll be resolving one of these homework from here. So the primary purpose of this video is to understand the functions parameter. I mean, in Java, we are calling function as method. We are going to learn the parameter, how you can pass parameter to a function, to a method, and also we are going to learn how we can return value from a method. So again, this tutorial will be basically focusing on methods parameters and methods return type, and also we are going to explain the homeworks, and if time allows we are going to see the practical example of why we are using methods in Selenium automation, and how we use method actually to build reusable code. All right, so as you can see from my computer here, in the last class we have discussed how we can pass parameter to the method, and then how we can return value from the method. Okay, as you can see, I have two classes. One is master class, another one is hardworking converter class. Okay, as usual, from the master class, inside the master class I have the main method, from where basically when you execute a Java code, the execution starts from the method, from the class um, where we have the main method, right? The execution will be started from here, and after that you will see that we will be calling methods from this class. And remember, you cannot call the method by their name. You will have to declare an object of that class. Like as you can see, the name of the class is this hardworking converter, right? So I have used this name and then given a object name, and then this new operator and hardworking converter, I have declared an object like this, and by using that object I have called a method, right? In that method, as you can see, that I'm converting feet to inch. Okay, and then let's go to the definition of this method. Okay, so the definition of this method is inside that class. Let me go inside that class, and as you can see here, that I have a method, right? When you see that a name with a pair of parentheses, and there is a return type here, right? Can you see this is the return type, and in the parentheses we have the parameters, right? Whatever parameters we are going to receive from the calling class, right? So whenever you see that something that has a set of parentheses, inside the parentheses you might get a parameter or it might be empty, but there will be a return type here, int, float, double, or void. Void means we will not return anything, right? And then if you see that the parenthesis, set of parentheses is followed by a curly bracket, that means this is a method. Okay, now as you can see that in that method we are receiving int feet. That means we are receiving the value of feet, right? If you supply 5 feet, right, this 5 feet will be coming here and stored in this variable feet, and then we are calculating feet times 12. That means 5 times 12. We are converting that feet into inches, right? So it will be 5 times 12, it will be 60, and 60 will be stored here in that variable. So where did we get that variable? This variable we have defined. Can you see in this class, this is the property of the class, right? What is that property? We have a variable, integer type variable, which will take the full number, and the name of the variable is int results, and finally we are returning, right, whatever value we are calculating, we are returning that value from here. Now, if you go back to the master class, you can see that by using the object, we are calling that method and we are supplying 5, and in return, it is returning the inch value of 5 feet. And then when you are returning a value, make sure you will have to store it, right? As you can see, we are storing it to a variable, right? Whatever this method is returning, we are storing it to this variable, and finally we are printing this value to the output, right? Now let me do a quick execution, and you will see that we will get 60. Can you see? We'll get 60. That means this 60 we are getting it from here. Let's say we can say that um, inches equal to, and then we are adding this string with that value, right? So if I execute it again, you will see that it will show inches equal to 60. Now, where is this 60 coming from? We are not doing any calculation here, right? We are just supplying 5 to this method. But how we are printing 60 here? Because if you go inside that method, it is this variable is returning 5, and then we are multiplying that 5 by 12, and then we are returning that result. And where are we collecting that result? We are collecting that result here. That means this is going to be 5 times 12, 60, and this 60 is going to be stored here in inches. Okay, and then we are printing it. Okay, now, so this is this is what we are calling parameter. When we are calling this method, we are passing a parameter, and then we are receiving that parameter in this variable, and then we are multiplying this variable by 12, right? And then we are returning results, right? And then as you can see that finally we are printing it. Now, so we all know that this int, it will store only full number without any decimal point. So what will happen if you supply here 5.5, right? If you supply 5.5 as a parameter, right, then can you see it is complaining? Because when you are supplying 5.5, and let's go there, right, you will see this method is returning int. Returning int means what is the type of int results? It will be integer, and then we are storing the result here in in an integer variable. And if you look at the error message, right, you will see this method fit to inch in the type hardworking converter is not applicable for the arguments double. Now it is complaining that you are supplying double here, but over there you are using a integer type variable to receive that value from here. So that is the complaint. So how we are going to resolve it? We are going to resolve it, instead of int, I'll have to say double, because I'm supplying floating point data. Now can you see, now it is, this fit is double, but after multiplying it, you are trying to save the result in this integer type variable, because this is an integer type variable, right? So what you will have to do, instead of declaring it as an integer, you will have to say double, right? Now this complaint will be gone. But if you take a look, return ins results, right, you are returning a floating point, I mean a data with a decimal point. But can you see your return type? Your return type is integer. But you are here, you are saying no, I'm going to return a double data, but your return type is integer. So you'll have to mention whatever data you are returning, you will have to mention the type here. So we are returning double data, so I'll have to change it to double. Now if you go back, you will see, if you save it, right, now can you see, now you'll see what is the complaint, right? Now can you see type mismatch, cannot convert from double to int. Now from this call we are getting a data with decimal point, that is double, but we are saving this data in intr, which is an integer type variable, so we'll have to change it to double. Double, right? Now you'll see there will be no complaint, and if I execute it, you will see that it is calculating accordingly. So now I'm going to do another example. Let's say you are going to write another function that will convert kilometer into meter. So you are going to write a we are going to write a method that will convert kilometer into meter, right? So again, I'll be coming here. Can you see I have a method already? I have a method here. I'm going to write another method here. Let's say again I'll be starting with int and kilometer to meter, right? And then I will be getting my value here as a parameter, right? So int, let's say kilometer, and then I'm defining the method, remember that, and then I'll be starting my curly bracket and closing my curly bracket. So here I'm going to write the code for this method, right? So I will have to, let's say if you want to return, I'm going to declare here another variable, let's say int um, meter, int meter value, right? And then here I'm going to say meter value equal to kilometer. My kilometer value is in that kilometer variable kilometer, so it will be k will be uppercase kilometer times 1000. We know that 1 kilometer equal to 1000 meters, right? And then I'm going to return, right? I'll have to return what is that result. Where do I have my result? I have my result here, right? So I'm going to return this, return, right? Now you can see that no complaint, right? No complaint. So if I go back here, if I want to call the same method, right? Now I'm getting result. um, I'm going to store result in a variable, right? What is the variable name? Let's say meter result, right? And then I'm going to say that meter result equal to, I'm going to use the same object, right? This is the object that we have created previously. I'm going to use the same object dot, right? What is the, can you see meter value function? Actually we have a function kilometer to meter. I'm going to call this function, and then as a kilometer I'm going to submit 3 kilometer, right? I'm going to send 3 kilometer, and then I will get the meter result here, right? And then let's say I want to print the result. So if I want to print the result, what I'll have to do is just, instead of inches, I'm going to say this is meter, and what is the value of the meter? This is the value of the meter, right? Right. So if you execute it now, you will see that I know that 3 kilometer equal to 3000 meters, right? So I'm going to add an s here. So what will happen if you supply 3.5 meter, right? Now you will see that it will be complaining that um, if you put your cursor on it, right? If you put your cursor, the method came to meter in the type hardworking converter is not applicable for the arguments double. I'm sending a double from here, but over there I have declared int, so I'm going to, instead of int, I'm going to say double. Right now I'm saying double, so this double times 1000, it will be, the result will be double, but I'm storing it in the integer type value. So instead of integer I'm going to take this I'm going to declare two variable at a time as double, and I'm going to return remove this. Right now my result is double, right? Is double. I have declared two double variable at a time, and then when I'm returning, it is a double value, but I'm saying my return value will be integer. That is not matching, so it is complaining. So I'm going to say, instead of integer, I'm going to say double. Now if I come here, I'm returning a double result from this one, but I'm storing it into a integer type variable, right? So what I'll have to do, I'll have to take this variable out of here, and then I'm going to declare two double variable at a time and remove this line. Now there are no complaints. So if you execute it again, you will see that you are getting accurate results, right? Now let's say I'm going to show you another, like so far we have seen how we can pass integer type value to a method, and also we have seen how we can pass double type value to a method and return integer and double type value from a method. Okay, now we are going to learn, let's say you are supplying an string. We have explained that what is a string. String is alphanumeric data, and string always remains in the double quotation. Okay, now let's say that you are supplying your name, and from the method it will return, right? From the method it will return, let's say your name is David, it will return hello, I am David, right? So how you can do that, we are going to learn that. So we inside that one, let's say we are going to define another method. So this method will receive an string value that will be in double quotation, and it will return at a string value. So how will you do that? That is how you write, this is the return type, and let's say we are going to name this method as string convert to string. And then what will it return? It will return from the method a string again, let's say string name, right? And then here, right, the name is we have a name in that name variable, and then we are going to say name. I'm going to declare another variable here, string converted name, right? String converted name. So I'm going to say converted name, converted name. Actually, let me copy this. Converted name, converted name equal to, I'll say we are going to add hello, I am, and then there will be a space, and then I'm going to add that name, right? I'm going to add that name here, I am name, and then it will be adding a, let's say it will be adding a full stop at the end after the name, right? So I'm going to put a full stop, right? And then I'm going to end this. So now can you see, this is one string, and then this is another string, and then inside this plus I have added another string that is inside a variable. So if you have a string in the variable, and you cannot put it in the double quotation, if you put it in the double quotation, it will not be printing that name, it will be printing only the name, right? I'll show you in an example. Now after the conversion, then we are going to return this converted string, right? I'm going to return this converted string, and then how we are going to call it, we are again uh, we are going to go to that method, right? We are going to go to that method here, and then let's say we are going to declare another variable, string conv name, string conv name semicolon. Now if you come here, right, I'm going to say this conv name equal to, I'm going to use the same object to call that method, right? Dot, what is that method? We have convert string. Can you see? This is the method, right? This is the method that we have defined, and here we are going to send the name. Let's say the name is David, right? So what will happen? We'll get a value in converted name, and then let's say we are going to do a system out println. I'm going to do a system out println, and then what I'm going to do here, let's say I'm going to print this value, right? So if you now execute it, you will see that we are supplying a, a value when we are calling this method David, and then inside that method we are adding hello I am David and a full stop, and then I'm returning that converted name, right? If you start the execution, you will see that now it is, we are supplying David, now it is converting to hello I am David, and then we are able to print it from our main method, right? So that is how you supply value to a parameter and then you return values from a parameter. All right, now we are going to resolve this. Basically we are going to resolve this equation, right? As you can see that we'll have to supply the base and height, and then we know that the area of a triangle is zero point 0.5 times base times height. So I'm going to write a method that will take base and height as a parameter, and then it will return the area of a triangle, right? So let me go to Eclipse, and here over there I'm going to write a method again. After this method, I'm going to, remember, when you are writing a method, you'll always have to write inside that class. Can you see your class is starting here and your class is ending here? So I'll have to write in between, and I cannot write inside another method. This is another method, so I'll have to write after that method. So this method will return what? Double, right? And then let's say the name of the method is area lower camel case. Remember, all of the words, your function, your method name, variable name will always be lower camel case. Lower camel case means first word will be started with a lowercase letter, and all of the subsequent words will be started with uppercase letter. So area of triangle, right? And then it will receive two value, right? One is double base comma double height, right? It will receive, that is how you receive two values as a parameter, right? And then it will do the, it will calculate the area, right? Again it will be a double value, so I'm going to declare that value, right? Area triangle, right? And then in that value you can put any name, A, B, C, D, right? So let's say I'm going to say area triangle equal to, right, we know that zero point 0.5 times base times height is the area of a triangle, and then we'll have to return, right? We'll have to return that area triangle. So I'm going to say return this area triangle, right? Now I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to uh, Again, I'll need a variable to store the results. Let's say my variable is area t. You can give any name, guys. So I'm going to say area t equal to, I'm going to use this same object, right, to call that method dot, what is that method that we have? Can you see area of triangle? And by looking at it, you see that it will take two parameter as input, right? You call this now base. Let's say I'm going to send my base equal to 5 and then height equal to 2, right? And then my area will be this, right? I'm going to close this statement and then I'm going to do a print print statement here, right? The print statement will be area of the triangle equal to, what is that, this, right? Now what is the area of a triangle that has base 5 and height 2, right? Let me bring calculator. So if I bring calculator, where is my calculator? Yep. So it will be 0.5 times 5 times 2, right? So the area will be 5. So now if you execute this program, right, you will see that it will go inside that method, it will supply 5 and 2, and then area of the triangle is 5.2. Hopefully this makes sense. What we are doing here, to get the area of a triangle, we are supplying the base and height, and as you can see that we have two parameters here, that is receiving the base and height, and then we are using these two parameters to get the area of a triangle, and then we are returning the area of a triangle, and finally we are printing here. We are adding this text, right, this string with this double data. So that's how you add a string, and you format your output, right, by adding meaningful text with the value, right? Makes sense? All right, so I think we have enough for this session. So your uh, homework will be to resolve all of this um, all of this homework. I'm going to add one more homework. Let's say you will write another method, write a method, right? Write a method that will take first name, middle, initial, and last. First name, middle initial, and last name as parameters, and combined these names for the full name, and will display in the output window as shown below, right? So how will it display? Let's say it will say uh, full name colon, and then let's say it will say first name, whatever you are supplying, first name space, middle initial space, last name, right? That is how it is going to format the output. So that is what will be all of your homework for this for the upcoming class. I'll send you another video where I'm going to show you the use of this method in by using some Selenium objects. By doing some automation, I'm going to show you how you will be using the methods, right, to modularize your code so that everyone can reuse your code, right? So that's all for this video. Thank you all for patiently waiting and watching this video. I appreciate your time. Thank you. Bye.